Hey there, welcome. I'm so glad you found your way here. If you're into art creation and unapologetically being yourself, you're in the right place. My name is Julie, and I'm an artist in Southern Ohio. I'm also a mother, an aunt, a dreamer, and a survivor. I'm here to share my art with you in my beat-up little block building art studio. I do a little bit of everything and share some stories along the way. I'm currently fixated on pottery, so that's what you're going to see from me for a little bit. But art helps me heal. I hope that you can find some peace while watching my videos and a little bit of humor thrown in. I do have some spicy language at times, so you've been warned. So here's my why. I've been wanting to do this for a while because it is my therapy. Making art brings me joy. I've fallen out of the habit of making art for a long time for life reasons, and sometimes I have to take breaks from it because of chronic illness and whatnot. But I work when I can, how I can, and I figure someone out there might like to sit with me and watch me create. Starting this channel is my way of connecting with myself and sharing with the world. I know that sounds kind of lame, but it's true. I'm not in it to get fame and fortune, but hey, I'm not opposed to it either, so subscribe. Most of the themes will be art related, but sometimes I may add some personal stories and struggles. Discretion is advised. So what can you expect from my channel? If you stick around, you can expect videos about art making, pottery, painting, sculpture, drawing. I'll discuss a current topic that's on my mind in hopes that someone may relate, or a way of getting it off my chest. I am a huge advocate for self-care and self-love, even when it's hard to do. Some days it'll be deep. Some days may be light, but always honest. If any of that speaks to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button so we can grow together. And I'd love to hear about you in the comments. Seriously, tell me who you are. Thanks for watching. I'm nervous and excited, but mostly grateful that you're here. See ya. I made a hat. It's so cute. It's really not a hat. It's a lid. So this is a vase that I threw on the wheel, and I had way too much clay, so I'm just ripping it off there. It fits rather nicely. Ta-da! Ginger jar. Trimming is such a peaceful process. Like, I can just sit at my wheel, and once I fight with it to get centered, I can just trim away all of that clay, the excess clay. And it's just so satisfying to see it take shape in the trimming process. It's quiet, it's therapeutic, and I just really enjoy it. Peaceful time alone with myself, just trimming clay. It seems so simple, and it is. It's just an easy way to find some peace and really center. So this is after my pieces were trimmed and allowed to come to a bone dry state. It just took me a while because I ended up getting sick and hurt my back and I had to stop. And this is the first time I'm actually using the wood burning cast iron stove to fire pottery. At this point I don't know how it's going to work. so I'm just kind of going with it. And these pine branches smelled so good going in. I mean, there's something about building a fire that's just peaceful. So, of course, I have to have my torch. I can't just do it with a lighter. I have to have a badass torch. So that's fun. Using this cast iron stove and placing my bone dry pieces on top of it while building the fire is a excellent way to get the pieces heated up to the point where once this burns down and it's just left with hot coals, ashes, it'll prevent, in theory, prevent shock and prevent the pieces from busting. So this is actually a really good way to heat them up and keep that from happening. burned down, and I think it was probably about an hour worth of loading more wood and letting it burn to make sure that my pots were nice and hot, and letting it burn down to coals. So now I'm just loading my pieces in one by one and trying not to burn myself on the side of the stove, which I was not successful in doing. I burnt myself twice. But all in all, I got them all in there. My pieces are loaded, I build a fire on top of that. I was starting with larger pieces at top and kind of making a teepee triangle shape, building a fire around it. We'll see if this works. Art really is just one big experiment, and that's one of my favorite things to do. Experiment with art, experiment with different methods, and see what works. If you've tried this method before and you have any feedback, I would love to hear your comments, or I'd love to read your comments rather. Let me know what you think. What have you tried? What do you want to see next? I'd love to hear from you. So a couple days later, it is now time for the reveal. Clearly this first piece I pulled out didn't make it for whatever reason. Still working on that. Either got too hot too quickly, or there was an air bubble. I'm not sure. But I do listen for the ping in a lot of my pieces. The ones with a good ping means that they are fully fired. If they don't have a good ping, they haven't been fully fired. cast iron stove wood firing experiment didn't necessarily go so well. I have several pieces that cracked, but a couple that turned out okay. One that I'm very surprised survived. So these were thrown on the wheel. This first little jar exploded, but the base is so incredibly thick, that's probably why. There was an air bubble or something and it just busted. It was way too thick. Plus, I probably didn't heat it up long enough. Could have been a million things, but it would have been cool. I might glue it back together, just use it for something. Doesn't have to be airtight. That doesn't fit perfect. Oh yeah, this fits good. So that was a fun little jar. The lid, there's a little crack in the top here. Not too bad. The next one, this little jar survived. It's got a nice little ring. That makes me happy. That one fired well. Should be watertight for the most part. I mean, it's terracotta, so terracotta always absorbs water. So if I wanted to put a plant in this, I could. I made this little lid to go with it. It doesn't fit very well, but it fits. This survived. Do you know how? Like this. Do you hear that ting?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
So that worked. This bowl has a crack in it somewhere because
Bottom. It hit the bottom.
that might be it, because I don't see any other cracks. Oh yeah, I do. I have a stress crack down at the bottom, or a water crack down here at the bottom, where there was too much water in there. But it has a
This one didn't crack.
kind of a clunky sound. But I could put a plant in that. I have a little hole in the bottom so that I can put a plant in it. So that's kind of cool. Should be good for that reason. This one has a crack in it somewhere because it's not tinging.
See.
I think the crack's over here. Yeah, it's right here on the side. See how it
sounds
sounds
like-
kind of clunky? But I can still plant something in it. It'll,
So this one doesn't have any cracks in
if
it.
it falls apart, I can just break it up into pieces
This
and
one
add
doesn't
it
have any
like
cracks
grog.
in it.
Yeah,
It
here's the
probably
crack
does.
right here. I'll be able to see the cracks a lot easier.
They're so dusty and stuff.
I know, I gotta clean them off. I'll be able to see the cracks a lot easier. This one's another planter that I got all jacked up, so. But I don't see any real cracks in this. I guess once I clean it up, it'll be fine. The other stuff busted. This one's in a million pieces, but it was really thin, so it was a little kind of like gravy bowl type deal. But I can crack this up and put it in the clay as grog. And that might help. Whenever I go to do this firing again, that might help it stay in one piece. And this one ripped off when I pulled it out. So this will also be grog.
Can I paint this one?
It's not dry yet, but yes,
Yes, it is. It's like fully dry.
it's not, that's not fully dry. Yay! Rainwater bucket. Okay, now I can see the cracks. Yeah. That's alright. I think it just heated up way too fast. definitely cracked. I think the next time I do this, I'm gonna dig a hole. I'm gonna actually pit fire these.
I turned into a slurp because there was water on my hand. I thought it was just normal water. But it was...
This one turned out really good. I'm surprised. I thought purity basins would be like this. And it worked.
I need white paint.
I got a good 3 pieces. Well, yeah, 3 pieces and a lid that actually worked out of this batch. So it wasn't too bad. Everything else is pretty well fired. At least it fired through, which is busted. So that's what. Forgot about this little dish. It's busted, but whatever. I'll make good grog.
I tried to open this. I tried to crack it.
So the cast iron wood burning stove method worked for 1 piece. Well, 3. I would say successfully 1 piece. So next time I'm going to dig a hole and pit fire it the right way.